Hey everyone, welcome back. Today we're going to be taking a deep dive into self-esteem.
Ooh, nice.
You know, that feeling of worth
Yeah.
that can either totally lift us up or make us feel, well, not so great.
Right.
And you guys sent in a ton of videos on this topic, 5 to be exact.
Wow, that's a lot.
I know. So we've got Psych to Go. They're all about the signs of low self-esteem.
Okay.
Then there's Shimon Davis. He's super focused on the whole self-belief thing.
Huh?
And Dr. Tracy Marks, she's diving into both the causes and solutions.
Interesting.
We've also got actualize.org. They're looking at 6 pillars of self-esteem.
6 pillars. Yeah.
And finally, Abraham the pharmacist, he's giving us some practical tips.
Sounds like we've got a pretty well-rounded view then.
Totally. And get this, we'll even be touching on a story from Theo Vaughn, the comedian.
Oh, yeah, I like him.
Me too. He was talking to Tony Robbins about, struggling with low self-worth.
Wow, so we're going from, practical tips to some pretty deep stuff, huh?
Exactly. So let's jump right in. Psych to Go, they had these 8 signs of low self-esteem. And honestly, the one about perfectionism, that really got to me.
Oh, yeah.
It's like, haven't we all been there? Trying to get everything just right?
Totally sweating the small stuff.
Exactly. And sometimes even avoiding stuff altogether.
Because you're so scared of messing up.
Yeah. And it's on the surface, it seems like you have high standards, right?
Sure.
But deep down, it's often this fear of not being good enough.
I think that's so insightful.
It's almost like we're trying to build this wall of perfect accomplishment.
Yeah, to protect ourselves.
Yeah, like a shield from criticism.
Yeah, that makes sense.
But the thing is, that wall can become a prison,
Oh, I see what you mean.
It keeps us from taking risks and really growing.
It's like you're trapped in your own perfect little box.
Exactly. And that fear of judgment, it spills over into how we handle compliments, too.
Oh, interesting.
Psych to Go mentioned dismissing compliments as a sign of low self-esteem. And man, I felt that.
Yeah, it's so easy to downplay your achievements or brush off praise.
It's like we don't believe we deserve good things.
So we push them away.
Yeah, like a reflex.
But then we're missing out on actually letting that positive feedback sink in.
And that's so important for healthy self-esteem, right?
Absolutely. Okay, so we've got fear of not being good enough, trouble accepting compliments.
Right. Now let's switch gears a bit.
Okay,
Shimon Davis, he had this really cool take on self-belief.
I'm listening.
He used this analogy, like playing guitar versus tying your shoes.
Okay.
Imagine someone asks you to play guitar for a whole crowd, and you've never even touched one.
Oh my God, I would die.
Right. Total panic. But if someone asks you to tie your shoes...
Easy peasy.
Exactly. Why? Because you've done it a million times.
Yeah, you're confident in your ability.
That's it. Confidence comes from practice and repetition.
It's not something you're just born with.
Exactly. You build it.
And he's saying we need to convince ourselves first, not everyone else.
That's the key. Not looking for external validation, but mastering skills and believing in yourself.
That's a powerful shift in mindset.
It is. And that ties in perfectly with what Dr. Tracy Marks was saying.
Oh, how so?
She described self-esteem as a protective barrier.
Interesting.
And the stronger that barrier, the better you can handle negativity.
Like a force field.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. She gave this example of someone with low self-esteem stuck in a bad relationship.
Oh, like an abusive one.
Yeah, and that low self-esteem makes them more vulnerable to manipulation and control.
That's so heartbreaking, but it makes sense.
It shows how crucial self-esteem is for our well-being,
Totally. It affects our relationships, our choices, everything.
It really does. And Dr. Marks talked about how those early life experiences play a huge role, too.
Yeah, like what kind of stuff?
Things like harsh punishment, neglect, even just a lack of encouragement.
That can really mess with your sense of self-worth.
Absolutely. And she talked about this thing, feeling to meet other people's expectations.
Oof, I've been there.
That feeling of being a disappointment.
And how that can stay with you.
She specifically mentioned those awkward teenage years,
Oh God, don't remind me.
When fitting in feels like the most important thing.
And if you don't click with your peers...
Yeah, it can be rough.
And it can definitely stick with you into adulthood.
Totally, influencing how you see yourself in relationships and social situations.
It doesn't have to, right?
Exactly. It doesn't have to define us. It's like we're carrying around these old suitcases full of, beliefs and stories.
Yeah, even if they're totally outdated.
Totally. And that brings us to actualize.org.
Okay.
They have this whole concept of self-image. It's fascinating.
What's that all about?
Well, they describe it as like an internal blueprint,
Of ourself.
Yeah, of who we think we are.
Okay.
And the thing is, that blueprint can be full of negative or limiting beliefs.
And that messes with our self-esteem.
Big time. It's
Yeah.
like we're looking at ourselves through these distorted funhouse mirrors.
Oh,
They give some examples like, I'm not smart enough,
Yeah.
or I'm unlovable,
gosh.
or even like, I'm bad with money.
It's crazy how those beliefs can become like self-fulfilling prophecies.
You totally can. Because our beliefs, they shape our actions.
Right. If you believe you're not good enough, you won't even try.
Exactly. And it's not always easy to figure out what those limiting beliefs are.
So how do you do it?
Well, actualize.org suggested journaling,
Interesting.
like asking yourself questions.
Yeah. Like what?
What are some negative thoughts I keep having about myself?
Oh, okay.
Or what experiences might have, led to these beliefs?
That's actually a good idea.
Have you ever tried journaling?
I have, yeah. It can be really eye-opening.
It's like bringing those subconscious beliefs to the surface,
Yeah, so you can finally examine them.
Exactly. Okay, so we've talked about some of the roots of low self-esteem,
Right.
but now let's get into solutions.
Yes, please.
Shimon Davis, he had this really powerful message about taking ownership of our minds.
What did he say?
He said it's like cleaning our body out. We got to do that for our minds, too.
So like mental hygiene.
Exactly. Being aware of our thoughts.
And not letting the negative ones take over.
Right. He called it being mindful.
Recognizing that our thoughts, they're not always facts.
They're just thoughts.
We have the power to choose which ones we focus on.
Exactly. And he was really emphasizing that it takes practice.
It's not a quick fix.
It's an ongoing process,
like retraining your brain.
Yeah. And Dr. Tracy Marks, she had this 4-step process for improving self-esteem.
Oh, tell me about it.
Okay, so first, you identify your core negative beliefs.
Okay, got it.
Then you got to recognize those safety behaviors you use to avoid facing them.
Safety behaviors.
Yeah, like things you do to protect yourself from feeling uncomfortable.
I see.
And step 3, this is the tough one, you got to face your fears head on.
No more hiding.
Exactly. Break the rules, drop the safety behaviors, and see what happens.
That's brave.
And finally, replace self-criticism with self-compassion.
Treat yourself like a friend.
Yeah, with kindness and understanding.
It's a whole journey, isn't it?
It really is. And Abraham the pharmacist, he had a bunch of practical tips too.
Okay, it's like what?
One that stood out to me was making a list of your positive qualities.
Oh, like an inventory of your strengths.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Shifting the focus from what you lack to what you already have.
Recognizing your good quality.
Yeah. He also talked about surrounding yourself with supportive people.
Your tribe.
Yes. People who lift you up.
And on the flip side, setting boundaries with people who bring you down.
So important. Remember he talked about learning to say no?
Standing up for yourself.
Yes. And taking on new challenges, even small ones.
Getting out of your comfort zone.
And celebrating every success, no matter how tiny.
Because those little wins add up.
They do. And of course, self-care.
The basics.
All the creators mentioned it. Sleep, diet, exercise. The drill.
It all matters.
It's all connected. Now, remember that story I mentioned about Theo Vaughn and Tony Robbins?
Oh, yeah, the one about low self-worth.
Yeah, it's a perfect example of how we can get stuck in emotional patterns.
Even if they're not good for us.
Exactly. So Theo was telling Tony about how he struggles to feel proud of himself.
Even though he's successful.
Right. And Tony used this analogy of an emotional home.
An emotional home.
Yeah, he explained that we all have these familiar emotional patterns, even negative ones.
Like a comfort zone, even if it's not comfortable.
Right. And Tony said something so powerful to Theo. He said, "Those are not your friends."
Whoa.
He was telling him to break free from those self-defeating patterns.
Create a new emotional home.
Yes, one filled with love and joy and pride.
It's a beautiful image.
It is. And what really resonated with me was Tony's emphasis on love as the antidote to low self-worth.
Love.
Yeah, like when you truly love yourself, you don't need validation from other people.
You already know your worth.
Exactly. And both Tony and Theo talked about how love transformed their lives.
That's amazing.
It makes you think, right?
It does. What emotion, if it were like the main thing in your life, would make those negative feelings disappear?
That's a good question. I think for me, it would be self-acceptance,
Just accepting yourself completely.
Warts and all.
That's powerful.
Mm-hmm.
I think for me, it might be like gratitude and joy combined.
Oh, I like that.
Appreciating the good things and approaching life with a sense of playfulness.
That's beautiful. And, as we're talking about this, I'm realizing that building self-esteem, it's not like a destination.
It's more like a journey.
Yeah, with ups and downs and twists and turns.
The important thing is to keep moving forward.
Keep learning, keep growing, keep choosing to love yourself.
That's it.
So well said. Now, here's a thought to leave you with as we go to the final part of our deep dive.
Okay, I'm listening.
What if, instead of trying to fix all our flaws,
Yeah.
we focused on our strengths?
What if we celebrated our uniqueness instead of trying to fit in?
Exactly. Like giving ourselves permission to be, perfectly imperfect.
Right, because who gets to decide what perfect even is anyway?
Seriously, it's this made-up standard that's honestly impossible to reach.
And exhausting to try for.
So true. What if we just focused on being our authentic selves?
Instead of some, ideal version.
Exactly. Embracing our quirks and differences as strength.
That's where real confidence comes from, I think.
Accepting yourself, the whole package.
Yeah, all the good and the not so good.
And remember, self-esteem isn't about being arrogant.
No, it's not about bragging.
It's about that quiet inner knowing.
Like you just know your worth.
And you treat yourself with kindness like you would a friend.
That's a good way to put it.
And speaking of kindness, Abraham the pharmacist talked about celebrating small victories.
Yeah, I like that.
It doesn't have to be something huge, right?
Like winning an award or something.
Exactly. It could be cooking a healthy dinner.
Or finishing a project at work.
Or even just getting out of bed on a tough day.
It's about acknowledging your effort, no matter how small.
Giving yourself credit for showing up.
Even when it's hard.
And I think that ties into resilience, too,
How so?
We all mess up sometimes. It's part of life.
It's how you bounce back that matters.
Exactly. It's what you do after you fall.
Picking yourself up and trying again.
And what's amazing is our ability to grow and change,
We can always learn from our mistakes.
It's like that saying, our greatest glory is not in never falling.
But in rising every time we fall.
That's it. And sometimes the best thing we can do is just be kind to ourselves.
Talk to yourself like you'd talk to a friend.
Offer encouragement and support.
Celebrate your wins, no matter how small.
And when you mess up, remember that everyone makes mistakes.
It's all part of learning and growing.
That's so important. It's about self-compassion, right?
Recognizing that we're all works in progress.
We don't have to have it all figured out.
And it's okay to ask for help when we need it.
Yes. Whether it's a therapist, a support group, a friend, whoever.
Reaching out is a sign of strength, not weakness.
It's a reminder that we're not alone in this.
There are people who care and want to help.
So as we wrap up this deep dive into self-esteem, I want to leave you with one final thought.
Shoot.
What if focusing on self-love, that's the key to a happier life?
It could be the foundation for everything, right?
Our dreams, our relationships, even making a difference in the world.
I think so, too.
It's an inspiring thought, isn't it?
It really is.
It's about embracing our worth and living as our truest selves.
A journey worth taking.
Absolutely. Thanks for joining us on this deep dive, everyone.
It's been a pleasure.
Until next time, keep learning, keep growing, and keep shining.